Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Financial technology is transforming how Americans earn, spend, and save their money. From peer-to-peer payment apps and digital wallets to earned wage access and installation products, FinTech innovations are responding to real consumer needs for speed and affordability. These products exist because they fill gaps in the traditional financial system, especially for consumers who have historically faced limited options or high cost. With my questions, I'll start with Mr. Zawicki. Are there any particular populations, hourly workers, gig workers, rural communities, who benefit most from FinTech services, and how are these tools especially helpful to them?
Yeah, the evidence on this is abundant at this point that traditionally underserved communities are the ones who benefit the most from FinTech and FinTech innovations. Whether it's rural, whether it's young people, BNPL, for example, is used heavily by Gen Z and millennials. Earned wage access obviously is used, very popular and used a lot by hourly workers who often live paycheck to paycheck. Upper income people are using these more, especially BNPL, but really the value proposition is for those groups. FinTech and FinTech underwriting, use of alternative data like cash flow data as opposed to credit scores and the like. The evidence on that is very clear that increases competition and benefits people most who are traditionally underserved and where competition is, traditional competition among banks is not very robust, which includes rural communities, obviously.
Mr. Palanipam and Mr. Lefton, how have earned wage access services improved financial stability for workers, and how are these products helping make everyday expenses more manageable?
Thank you for the question. The first thing that earned wage access does, which is what most people expect, is it helps people pay their bills on time. So there's fewer late fees on bills, there's fewer other expensive fees because they're paying their bills on time. There's also non-financial benefits where there's less stress. So I hear from our customers how they're able to send their children on field trips because they have access to our product, which they wouldn't have been able to do otherwise, celebrate birthdays on the right days, go to see a dentist when their tooth starts aching instead of putting that off to Friday. Spoke with a customer she works in healthcare, and her daughter likes to dance. She has to pay for dance classes at the beginning of every month, and she wouldn't have been able to do that without earnings. So her daughter goes for dance classes, and today takes part in dance competitions and can follow her passion for dance because of earning. And the other benefit that I spoke about in the testimony as well is that incomes go up. Incomes go up by over 10%. From the earn-in data set, a study on over 1 million customers, incomes went up by 11.5%. That's about $335 per month. And so we're seeing incomes go up as well when people start using earned wage access. From our data, we're actually seeing incomes go up faster than inflation. And so we're seeing wage growth in real terms as well.
Over what time period have you seen those increases?
We've seen wage increases higher than inflation over the last 3 years.
Mr. Levin, did you care to respond as well?
Sure. Well, first, I agree with everything that was just said. I think one of the things we need to remember when we're talking about EWA is that EWA users are not financially illiterate. They're just experiencing a frequency of pay issue. And so I think it's important we don't conflate the two, right? Consumers use EWA because they need to be paid on their own timeline, not because they don't know how to manage their own money. And I think that's a very important distinction. We need to trust that the user is in the best position to know how and when to access their wages and manage their money.
One thing that seems has worked to me at the state level and otherwise are, really to try to bring about innovation. And so like the regulatory sandbox legislation, our state adopted that a couple of years ago. It allows financial institutions and technology firms to test new products under the supervision of regulators. So I guess just a follow-up question to Mr. Zawicki, how can regulatory sandboxes help regulators better understand new FinTech products before imposing broad rules?
Yeah, briefly, I'll just amplify on the EWA question some of the points that my colleagues have made here, which is, I think the best study on this is the Davis study, who in addition to finding income goes up, also finds that there's no financial problems. People don't overdraft more, do any of that sort of stuff, as opposed to the Connecticut study where they found losing access to EWA led to a lot more payday, having to sell products and that sort of thing. With respect to sandboxes, I think sandboxes are revolutionary. I think they're super important. The ability to get real-time information, tweak products, even the discrimination type questions that were being raised, I think could be addressed very well with regulatory sandboxes to make sure those products operate the way they should.
Thank you. And my time is up. I did have other questions for the other witnesses, but I appreciate you all being here today. With that, I yield back, Mr.